If you have never had success with Facebook ads and you want to actually grow your brand with ads, I'm gonna show you the framework of what it takes to be profitable with ads, the future of ads, and then I'm gonna build the campaign for you right here live. All right, so first off, I wanna go through the changes that are gonna happen this year. So number one, volume. 2024 was all about diversity, so you needed to have images and videos and graphics and different variations of UGC. You will still need that in 2025 and beyond, no matter when you're watching this video. But the biggest thing now that we're gonna need is volume. So with the changes of ASC, or Advantage Plus Shopping, basically, for layman's terms for everybody, Meta is taking more control over the actual campaign. I will show you where that's at here in the Ads Manager here in a second, but ASC is the Advantage Plus Shopping campaign, and essentially what happens is you can put in a catalog ad in here, or you can put your post IDs, you can put manual images, manual videos, and it's just saying, hey, look, give this machine as much data as possible, and we'll find the right audience. It's getting so good at it. So if you have diversity, great, but you will also need volume because it's gonna burn through ads very quickly. Like, this didn't work, move on. This didn't work, move on until it finds the right person. So that's number one. The next thing, what we're gonna see is adaptation to Advantage Plus Shopping. I would say ads agencies or managers or people like us who help coach brands, we may suggest that a little bit more, but we're gonna see a lot more adaptation from people who don't hire agencies because it will be easier to create campaigns. If setting up the campaign was the easier part of what to do, then, I mean, we'll talk about that here in a little bit later, but the money is made on the creative side of things with an ads manager, which, like I said, I will hit on a little bit later. But the main thing is that there is going to be more adaptation to this Advantage Plus Shopping because it is easier. What we have seen, the reason why it has not worked as well is because you do need a lot of data. If you're spending $200, $300, $400, $500, $1,000+ a day, then Advantage Plus Shopping probably makes a little sense. If you're spending less than $200 a day, you may not have enough data, you may not have the ability to do the diversity of creative that is needed to make this Advantage Plus Shopping actually work. So there is going to be more adaptation to that. I also think that there's going to be more of a move away from an agency model. Now for us, we only take on a very small select group of people, and some of them we've been working with for over 10 years. And then we've created our program is for clothing brand owners trying to get to their first like 100K months, like that range of business. And that is because people need the business fundamentals and business principles, and they need an easier route. So they're going to do some more stuff with ASC. The next thing I think will happen is that you will see that ads are not necessarily as profitable because of the creative side or the setup, but the conversion rate optimization will matter more than ever. And how do we actually improve this? Number three, so the conversion of your website will matter more to make ads actually profitable. Volume of ads that are created, more Advantage Plus Shopping campaigns are going to be adapted, and then the conversion rate, basically the mesh between your ad and your website, are going to matter even more. Now, I alluded to this just a second ago, but the biggest misconception about Facebook ads is that people continue to forget, and that is the ads success is done within Ads Manager. Okay, that's not the case. Now, most gurus on the internet will put up an ads manager, just like I am here, right? Well, they'll scroll through the screen and they'll tell you how to build it out. They're gonna tell you the exact same thing that we've been saying for 5+ years, right? So one campaign, make sure that it's broad and that the creative is gonna do the targeting. But the success comes with a system and the work done outside of Ads Manager. Now, I'm gonna walk you through the system to make sure that you can continue to grow your brand profitably, and I'm also gonna show you how to build this too, right? We'll get into the actual building of it. I'm not going to ignore that part. I'm just saying it's a small piece. But before we get into that, I just want to say a quick hey, howdy, and hello. My name is Aaron. I'm one of the co-founders here at Fit Branding alongside my business partner, Christian. We specialize in helping clothing brand owners just like you grow and scale online. Now, we've served over 250 clothing brands in the last year alone, and I'd appreciate it if you are a clothing brand owner and you've gotten some value in this video so far, just give us a nice little like and subscribe. This really does help, and we truly appreciate it. Now, if you do it in the next 3 seconds, I will share with you my favorite book series as a young whippersnapper, and that was the Berenstain Bears. Okay, so I'm gonna walk you through this formula. I'm gonna write this out. It probably looks like absolute jargon for you, but it will make a little bit more sense in a second. I'm gonna label this as COE for short. I'm also doing it in green because it's gonna make you a lot of money. All right, so COE, or the closing offer equation. Now I'm gonna break down each one of these, and essentially this is the formula that you need to use to create more value for your brand to your customers to make more money. I thought about this value equation. If you guys are familiar with Alex Hormozi, he has his offer equation to basically make more money for like the lead gen or the business to business side of things. So I was like, there's got to be an equation that we can create, and don't worry, I'm gonna trademark this thing, don't be trying to steal it. There's gotta be a way that we can apply this to clothing brands so that it can help you guys make more money. So I'm gonna break these down for you. What do these actually mean? So this is the style aspirations. So style aspirations, this is that dream outcome or the look / identity a customer hopes to achieve. They're trying to get there, right? This is a fashion statement, this is a confidence boost, etc. Okay, and we'll get into the specifics of that here in a second. The next thing, QF. So QF is quality and fit confidence. The buyer's belief they'll actually get what they want. For example, garments that are made with reliable, high quality fabric, flattering fit, long-lasting appeal, and that is all divided by W. Okay, this is waiting time, and waiting time could be like how long it takes to receive the product, shipping, processing, production delays, etc. Okay, so whether you do pre-order, whether you have it pre-made, those factor. Okay, so then plus SF. So what is FS? This is shopping friction. Shopping friction, this is any hassle, any inconvenience the buyer may experience. Complex checkout, difficult returns, poor customer service. All of those things play a factor when it comes to the shopping friction. Okay, that's why you see a big increase when there is free shipping. The last one here is PS. Okay, it's the last one and probably the one that everybody focuses on the most. This is price sensitivity. How much the cost of the clothing feels like a sacrifice relative to its perceived benefits or the buyer's budget. Basically, how much does this thing cost? Does it make sense based off of the quality and the fit and the style aspirations? Is there a good trade-off? What's my perception? If you want a full breakdown of this equation for your brand, comment the word clothing below and I'll send this to you. I have a document that outlines everything a little bit more in depth than what we're going to get into in this video, but I wanted to hit on this because it's extremely important and I want to talk through some actual examples here. So real quickly here, what are some things that we can do to improve this? So style aspirations, you want to create content that your audience actually cares about. Now what do we do whenever that comes into Facebook ads? I promise those will all tie back in together. So style aspirations, showcasing who it is. Let's say, for example, you're going after a 25 to 35-year-old guy. You should probably have that person in the actual products. And if it's a guy, do not use a girl. Actually show that person, have them doing the aspirational type of things. For example, if you want them to be a business owner, then have them in a business setting. So style aspirations, quality and fit. Very easily you can create content that shows off, okay, this is a good stretchy material, or that it's slim fitting, or that the collar is perfect collar for whatever it may be. But you can talk about the quality and the fit. Okay, make sure that it's there. And if you're like, look, I don't know the quality and the fit, well then that means you need to go back to the drawing board. Your ads are going to be harder to make work if you don't know. And then the more that you can continue to increase this number and decrease this number, again, I have a whole video, I'm gonna break down the actual numbering system for this, but the more that you can do this, the higher you can make more value, or the higher the value, the more money you can actually make. So waiting time, what can you do to decrease the amount of waiting? You can talk about the fact that you could do free shipping. You could talk about how long is it gonna take to actually receive the products. Could you do free shipping, free second day shipping, free priority? One of our clients does an amazing job of everything goes out same day and goes out priority. Okay, so we got that one fixed. Shopping friction, is your checkout, like maybe you're on Shopify Plus, you can customize the checkout. If you're not, you can make a very seamless experience with Shopify. They do a great job, but what can we do to stop the shopping friction? What's your return policy like? What is the response time with your customer service? All of those plays a factor. And then price sensitivity. Are you just marking this up to have crazy margins, or does the value actually work here? And if you're doing print on demand, just as a side note, I'd go the highest quality material and then charge the highest amount there, because the price sensitivity isn't going to change too much, but if your margins are low, it's going to be difficult to try to sell. I promise this will all make a little bit more sense when we get into the actual ads, but I did want to share this with you guys. This is the first video that I have created where I've outlined this, and there is a document. I believe this formula, as you continue to adjust it, will make you a ton of money. One of the biggest things that you must do is you must figure out who your audience actually is. So the first thing that we ever do is we go through what's called our struggling avatar, and we do the research on our audience. This just asks questions, clarifies questions, goes through the exact demographics and psychographics of the audience. So not only like age, gender, location, but do they buy from Target? Do they buy from Whole Foods? What kind of person are they? And then you find out who your actual audience is. So that's number one of research. If you don't know that, it's very difficult to kind of go to that next level. And if you want this document and the 2 accompanying documents that walk through your struggling avatar to the unique solution that you offer to the future pace here, what life is like afterwards, just comment the word avatar down below. We'll send the document over to you. That is step number 1 for the part of the research. The second thing you should do, and especially if you're just starting out, is to go look at competitors. I go to Google, I go to Amazon, I look at reviews, I see the problems that people have, I pull up a Google Doc and I start going through that piece. Eventually I'll do a video on that, but I want to make sure that we get into the actual ads making piece here. But you must do that research, and you must know what you can do to increase more value here. Because if you know who your audience is, you go through this struggling avatar document, and then you align your brand with this formula, you'll be in a very good position to now start to actually run ads. Now that the research is done and you know your audience better than your competition, which is absolutely crucial. You must know them better than your competition. It's time to make sure you have a profitable ad that continues to make money, because otherwise there's no point of actually doing it. Now I'm gonna walk you through the full funnel that needs to be in place to scale. But first, hold up just 1 second. I want to say that if you are a clothing brand owner and want to jump into the specifics of your brand and how to grow it profitably online, you can schedule a free 45-minute strategy session with us. There are obviously limited spots. People don't believe me. Go check out the link in the description down below. We'd love to meet you. See you on the other side. So the full funnel looks pretty much like this. First things first, what most people don't do well in the beginning is they don't have good enough profit margin. Now, if you're print on demand, again, you may be able to do 50-55% margins. I get it, right? Your cost of goods for the actual shipping side of things should be 50-55%. You should be making that kind of profit on it. But number 1 is profit. This should be your manufacturing. For a clothing brand owner to be successful, I really believe you got to be between that 60 to 80% to have the margins to be able to scale your business. Okay, so that's number 1. Before you do anything, if you don't have margins, all these other things are going to be much harder to do. It's really kind of an uphill battle. The next piece is retention, or more so, again, a variation of the actual profit. So email and SMS, if you are sending 15,000 people to your site per month and you're at that spot, then I would absolutely suggest something in addition to this. So email, SMS, I would also use a tool called retention. You can go to retention.com. There's a link in the description down below. It is next level. It will grow your email list. It will basically capture all of the data for people who go to your site outside of the ones who give you their email address. Okay, it's very cool software, it's very powerful, but you gotta have some actual traffic already first. Email and SMS, again, this is gonna be about, we have seen, and for a clothing brand owner to be successful, 30% minimum on that. If it's honestly like above that, we have brands that are doing like 70%, way too high. You don't have enough new customers. 40%, kind of the safe range. 35% sweet spot. Anything below 30, and it's really hard to grow, because if you don't have good profit and you don't have a good returning customer rate, your business is probably struggling. That's probably why you're watching this video. Now, the manufacturing side of things, I always tell people, look, you can go to Pakistan, you can go to China. Both of them, China's like gold standard. Everybody kind of gives crap to China because of political stuff, but honestly, they're the best in the world at what they do. There's some places in other parts of Asia, there's some other South American countries, don't get me wrong, we have relationships with a lot of brands who are doing good manufacturing. But I always tell people, if you're in the US, or at least Canada, Mexico or so, have somebody stateside as well. We are partnered with a brand called Threadbird. They are out of Orlando, Florida. Great company. If you're scaling up and you need a 3PL or a third-party logistics company to ship things out, you can go with these guys. They can also do something in a pinch for you if you need something and you're waiting on the ship. I mean, you can't do air right now for something in China. They can help you out as well. There is a link for them in the description down below. One other tool that we continue to use, and again, we partner with them, is Jufi. A lot of people look at this as like some kind of communication tool, but honestly what it is it's another sales mechanism. I'll pull up Jufi for you on the site. They just became like one of the top 5% inside of the App Store within Shopify, so very well trusted. But it's a sales associate or assistant, if you will. You can use ChatGPT to help with the machine learning and know about your brand and help people find the right sizes. It can also help people to upsell or downsell or cross-sell. So it's another sales assistant that's working 24/7. You don't have to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning because Jufi will be answering it for you. At least of this recording, you can get like 30% off for the annual subscriptions or monthly subscription for this. And if you don't have enough traffic, you can also get it for free. So I like free, and I like telling you guys about the free tools. But it's another sales mechanism that you can use that once you've programmed it or you've helped it learn with its machine learning, it will actually basically be another sales tool for you on your site. What I like about it, I always want to know where the heck my packages are at. Right now I'm waiting on a package, no clue where it's at. If I had Jufi, I could go there and be like, hey, what's the status of my package? Oh, it's here. This is what's going on. It's leaving, wherever. It's going to McKinney, Texas, or it's going to Dallas or wherever. And I could actually know what's happening, which is cool. But then, oh, I want to change sizes. No problem. It will walk me through the return policy. It will walk me through upselling and downselling. Super, super cool site. It also works with Instagram DMs too. So if you're one of those people who wants to get rid of back and forth Instagram DMs, Jufi can also help with that as well. Full funnel, you got to have profit. We want to retain those customers, and then we need to make sure we have a sales tool in place. The other one I would say too, along with this profit, this is all about profit, but last one, 2 things that I know about scaling ads. Number 1, you got to have a great offer. So many brands are like, I love my brand so much, I'm never going to do an offer because that will diminish the quality. Look, if you're not making sales, you got to figure out an offer to the marketplace, i.e. this over here, right? What's your offer, the clothing offer equation, if you will. If you don't have a good enough offer to the marketplace, then you will probably not have sales, and it doesn't matter what the quality is. You can go out of business and you won't be able to share that offer with anybody. So good offers scale. So we do need a great offer. It doesn't mean you have to do a discount. It's a misconception. But you can do a great offer, whole different conversation. And the other thing is you've got to have a high profit margin, right? We mentioned that. But the best way to add margin into your business is by bundling. There's some bundling apps that we suggest. It's Sell Easy is a really good one. Vitals, which we are actually partners with. There's a link in the description down below. And then there is One Click Upsell. Okay, One Click Upsell, a little bit more advanced, a little bit more pricey. Sell Easy does a lot of the same things, like $8 or $9 a month. Don't quote me on it. And then there is Vitals down below, who does something very similar as well. But you got to bundle your products. Instead of just selling somebody a t-shirt, sell them 2 t-shirts or sell them some joggers, sell them a hoodie and a hat, whatever it may be, right? You know your audience, or if you don't, right, you should. We need to talk about that, but go through that struggling avatar document and find out what your audience would actually care about. That part of it is extremely important because, again, the ads are not made inside of Ads Manager. Well, I mean, technically they are, but the money is not made in Ads Manager. It's all this stuff right here. This is what actually make ads work. Okay, so we're over here inside of Ads Manager. I'm gonna break it down for you. I'm gonna create a completely brand new campaign for you, exactly how I would do it right now, again, following this information. Now, the only thing that's gonna be different is that I would copy and paste the actual copy from a Google Doc that I would have created. It would look something like this. I would go through this type of information here first, and I would copy and paste it. That being said, you don't need something like this. This is just something that we have, but you really need to know who the actual mass desires are, and then just a blank Google document. We also do have some prompts to help you understand who your audience actually is, and to help with ChatGPT or Claude to do this as well. If you want those, comment the word prompts down below. So it looks like this. This is winning copywriting prompts that we have used. So it says howdy, right? Insert your brand name. This is something we use for our OSO members, but it goes through these questions. You need to answer these 10, I think there's 11 questions. You would plug that into ChatGPT, and then you would give it the specifics of the ad copy that you're going to write. That's what I would do if I was going to actually write the copy on here, but that's not the point. I want to show you how to actually set up the campaign. And from doing these other areas we talked about, the struggling avatar, and then going through this information here, you would have been able to figure this part of it out. So back to Ads Manager, I'm gonna go ahead and hit create. I'm gonna hit sales. If you've been having success previously with your campaign and it's doing well, let's say it's rocking and rolling, then you're getting purchases well below your target cost per acquisition, then awesome. You could potentially do Advantage Plus shopping campaign. They are recommending it. However, if you have not and you want to scale up, this has been the best that I have seen. So you could do a manual sales campaign. Go ahead and click continue. The campaign name. So I always like to make sure that I am naming this something specific. A lot of times I would brush over this and not like label it for you guys. But again, this is sales conversion campaign, and then I would have this specific of the objective for what I'm going after. Let's just say this is USA, whatever. You will have one campaign per objective. If you also one campaign per country. So if you go to Australia or to Canada or to somewhere in the EU, you would change and do a completely different campaign. Now, I'm not going to do a catalog ad, at least at this point. Going through here, there's nothing that I need to do as far as categories, especially for apparel. That's asking basically like if you're doing something for political, employment, housing. All right, what I am gonna turn on though is the Advantage Plus campaign budget. I usually, if you're just starting out, it could be $30, $40, $50 a day. If you have been running ads previously, I would say let's start at $100 a day. What's happening now is you'll spend on average $100 per day, your maximum spend $175, and your maximum weekly will be $700. So they're starting to do budgets per week, and they are going to start doing, Meta is going to start doing what we see like bid cost and bid strategies and everything where people spend less money on the weekends potentially. We do not suggest that because it does not work long term, and honestly it spends way too much time in Ads Manager and it costs way too much more of your time, and Meta is going to now be doing it on its own. Don't worry about the A/B testing, don't worry about any of the reporting or the budget scheduling. That part does not actually matter for our intents and purposes. Go ahead and hit next. Now this looks different for every single person, but I always say the ad set should be what it actually is that you're going after. So this is broad, and I do like to label this. This could be women, I would say 25 to 55 years old, and USA, whatever, right? I already knew the campaign is USA. You can label it however you would like, but just make sure the naming convention makes sense for you. Website and shop does not really work for us. However, if you've been killing it on Instagram and doing really, really well, the website and shop may work, okay? Always test it. For us, it has not worked as well as just going for the website purchase, and we get a little bit more data on our end, so that's the route we choose. So up to you on whether or not you do the website and shop or you do the website. I lean towards the website piece. Always test. That is the beauty here, right? And this video will change over time. I'm trying to teach you the principles of testing and growing and scaling a business. I know some of you guys are going to fill this out exactly, and that's fine, right? But just always make sure that you have something to test. Now, data set, this was formerly called the pixel, but it's called the data set now. Okay, so interesting. Make sure that your pixel is set up correctly, and make sure you're going for purchase. I can think of maybe one other time ever that I would go for anything outside of purchase, but other than that, go for actual purchases. To keep things consistent, we try to run on a 7-day schedule. So just in general, right, it's basically Monday to Monday. So we're gonna look through Monday to Monday, and we're gonna optimize for ads that way. We also have a testing process. We're gonna use our dynamic creative. So the dynamic creative is moving to flexible. I still have to turn this on. It's gonna go away, I believe, in the summer of 2025, and maybe pushed out even farther depending on how many campaigns are actually already using DCT or dynamic creative. That's what we built a lot of our ads off of. What's cool about DCT, and I'll draw this out for you, is that the campaign looks like this right now. So you have a campaign, then you have an ad set, and then you have the ad. So very simple, but inside of that ad, we are gonna have 3 different variations of the same concept. Now, a concept could be an us versus them. It could be a UGC type video, or it could be a flat lay image, okay? 3 of the very similar type of images could all be done in one site in one ad, which is cool. So we have 3 ads or 3 images or videos, creative if you will, 2 headlines. So 2 headlines, 2 primary text. So essentially, this one campaign and this one ad set, the campaign doesn't matter. We're going to continue to add and remove ad sets, but we will have 3 pieces of creative. So 3 of these times 2 is 6, times 2 is 12. Essentially, this one ad right here has 12 different variations or 12 different ads inside of it. So we really get the best opportunity to create enough content at scale. And thank goodness, because we do know the volume is going to play a big factor in this next year. So essentially, we created 3 different ads, and we're going to get 12 variations of that ad. So we can really start to outperform our competition. Location, I always like to switch back to the original audience. There is an Advantage Plus shopping audience, but I like to choose this. Placements, I leave that there. The suggested ads are ones that are already on our account. They're part of the assets. We have not imported anything yet. Okay, so we can if we would like. Nothing else needs to be edited here, okay? So it does say brand safety and sustainability, publisher block list, inventory filter. All of these do not really matter, at least at this point. These are just best practices. It does say 30%, 33% lower cost for Advantage Plus audience. Again, as you're spending a significant amount more money, let's say you spend $1,000 a day, $800 a day, let's check it out, potentially, right? Create another campaign, let's test it. But right now, every single time that we've had a program member or a client switch to that, and we continue to test, which is why we do it, you're like, why do you keep doing it? Because eventually it will work. But right now, as of this recording, not necessarily that much, at least consistently. And so it does say that, but every single time we have done it, it has not gone up 33%, it has gone down 33% as far as our success rate. I always try to look at this, and the labeling has changed from flexible or from DCT to flexible. That's just a naming issue. I think they kept the DCT there because, or the dynamic creative testing, because that's the name that everybody was looking for versus flexible, but the name has changed here. That is what we're going to do. We're going to choose a manual campaign. We're going to create an ad. We always try to label these. If it's our first ad, we're going to do 101, and let's just do graphic, holiday, graphic, lifestyle. So that's our test. And then we would upload the media here. So I would add 3 images or 3 videos that are very the same. I do not do images and do videos because the distribution, they're not created equal. A video may take less to get in front of somebody or more to get in front of somebody. An image may tell the full story, but they're never really going to compare apples to apples. It's not a true A/B test. So for example, this one does not have an offer, but let's say this one, and this one do. So they all have, actually, let's do this. There's a go. So brown, pink, green, 3 variations, primary text. So you enter your primary text there. Always do a second variation as well. The description does not matter. However, it does help with a little bit of SEO. So it could be women's clothing boutique. All right, and then the website URL. I always tell people send them to the product page or the collection page, depending on what it is. This is a boutique, so I always send people to the collection page because products, unless you buy deep enough, are probably sold out. If it is an individual item and you are selling, for example, like these joggers, shout out to Fitmint. Love these joggers, and he's a program member, so shout out to him. But I would just send them directly to the joggers if you're creating content on the joggers. All right, then the call to action should be shop now. We've done some stuff with Learn More, had some success, but shop now does do better. Make sure your website events are turned on. Make sure that if you have an app, for example, like Comment Sold, which is live social selling, which is actually another prediction, but not really related to ads, that will happen this year. Now, your parameters, this is really for people who are using like Triple Whale. The Triple Whale is an attribution software, which also is just a fancy word of saying, where is the data going? So in 2021, we lost all of our data because of the tracking, because of iOS, and it was really hard to figure out where the heck our sales were coming from. If you're spending $100 a day or you're running ads on Google and Facebook, I would suggest to get Triple Whale because you can actually figure out which ad is actually making the most amount of money so that you can spend more money on there. It is a game changer for most people, especially if you're using multiple ad platforms or you're spending over $100 a day. There is a link in the description down below. We are partners with them. I believe you get like 15% off if you use Bit Branding, but just check out the link in the description down below. You do not need to have that if you're not spending on multiple places or you're not spending $100 a day. And there's also some alternatives too, but that's just what we use, and we have been using them for almost 5 years now, since almost the very beginning of their company. Okay, so now you know the future of ads and how to build them correctly. You need to go check out the latest guide to grow your clothing brand. Go watch this video right here next. All right, y'all, have a great rest of your day. I will see you next time, and P.S. make sure you subscribe.